Well, welcome to the BDSM podcast, Booze, Desserts, Smoke, and Meat. I am Professor Porkline, and I'm here with my co-host.
The Meat Viking.
And so we are continuing our journey again around the U.S. And it feels like we've probably been in the Midwest for a while, but I kind of feel like that's how the alphabet is going for us, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we're gonna make a little bit of a detour, but then come right back to it. So we
Yeah.
are on our eyes, and this is the last ones. We have Iowa for today,
Mm-hmm.
not to be confused with the other ones of Illinois and Idaho. Although I hope neither of us fuck up and say both of those. But
I
um,
don't put it past me. It's been
so
a day, dude. Do not put that kind of juju on me.
so Iowa. I mean, we're gonna have to talk. We'll see. I feel like there's gonna be some similarities here, but also
Yep.
some really interesting topics.
Yep. I mean, let's just get this out of the way right now. There's probably a big popcorn branch in Iowa.
Yeah, I think the big popcorn is still part in Iowa.
Yeah. So,
So what do you got in your cup? I heard something crack open.
um, I was debating on what beer I wanted to drink, and I went with the Total Eclipse from Mommy Bay today.
Sticking with mommy.
Yep.
Nice.
Well, I mean, there's kind of like the bad thing about going to the meat market that I like to go to. They have a wonderful beer selection, but part of living in Ohio, you have like three or four breweries that are generally worth checking out that are available kind of like commercially. There are other breweries, but they don't like distribute out. It's more of you get all of their stuff directly from the brew house.
Yeah.
And so it's one of those convenience good beers, Like I can find this at the same store I can find a Budweiser at, you know?
Yeah, we have a couple places like that too that are very variety in the selection, but also you can get, a case of Bud Light.
Yeah. And
So
so
not a bad deal. Well, I am drinking some rum. I went and got some lunch, and in my package I got, a Coke, so I figured I'd just say we'll just dump some rum in it.
yeah, buddy.
So sticking with the rum. Although coming up, because we're getting into, the fall weather here, I will probably be making some appearance of some apple pie that I'll be making in the next
Mhm.
couple weeks. So stay tuned for some of that.
Yes, I am already excited for that, to be honest. That and there's one thing that I like to do in the fall time, and that is, well, actually two things, and that is getting like a good mulled wine, and then getting and making hard rum apple cider is something that I like to do.
Yeah.
So we can uh
Well,
we can teach you guys about that when that time comes.
of
Also,
course.
that we are approaching a year on YouTube,
I was gonna say we have to be coming up because I remember doing the Halloween stuff,
and it was
and
like 4 or 5 episodes in.
it was pretty close. So we might
Yep.
have to do a year special coming up, and take a break from the United States.
Yeah. 11 months ago, um, let's see if I can actually get the release date on this. That's the first one.
Yeah. So the first one is
No, sorry,
October, huh?
that was the second one. October 4th, 2020. The Baconing premiered.
The baconing. I think
Yeah.
we might need to rewatch that and have a commentary on how bad we fucked up.
Oh, I can already tell you right now. Just from the first audio clip alone, it's not pretty. So,
Maybe we can come up with some answers here of review our first ever one,
yep.
see how bad it is. We can laugh at it, and then think about what we can do as an anniversary special or something.
Right.
Maybe come back to see what's our favorite so far.
Hmm.
But we'll get that into the next we'll figure that out for the next one, October 4th.
Yeah,
So,
buddy.
but what kind of safe word are you thinking for today?
Um. Okay. I wish I could pronounce this word because it would make it all the more better.
Okay.
It's Kartofslupe.
What the hell?
Just Kartofslupe. You ever see Euro Trip?
Oh, it's been a hot minute since I've seen that.
There's the scene where that guy needs the safe word and it's in German and he doesn't speak it.
Okay,
it
man.
it's a German word for something we're going to be covering later.
Okay. Well, I will. We will say it, or we will try to say it, I guess.
Yeah.
So let's see. Moving into Iowa. I mean, it is called the Hawkeye State, and I wanted to kind of know where the hell that came from. And I guess way back in the 1800s, there was a guy of a newspaper, and he moved his newspaper and he renamed it the Burlington Hawkeye in tribute to his friend Black Hawk, who was not a chief, but part of an Indian tribe. And it kind of just stuck. So that's kind of weird, but I can see how there can be some Indian influences into that. And now it kind of makes sense.
Yep.
So,
Huh.
but I think as we go through with today's episodes, listeners, we're going to wind up seeing some similar stuff. We kind of hinted when we're talking about big popcorn. We've kind of gone over that a couple times.
Mhm.
So I don't know. Do you want to get into the first one? What do you think is something very similar or something that you've heard?
Well, I so in doing some brief research, one of the things that we came up was that the breaded pork tenderloin sandwich that we did in our last episode, excuse me, last episode is also super popular in Iowa,
It is.
and
I
that
find that interesting.
yep,
You
because
know,
that comes from Indiana. That's relatively far away.
yeah, but I guess there was some part of it with the Iowa State Fair because they had, you know, big slabs of meat,
Mm.
and they kind of just said, okay, let's fry it and throw it in there. But so you know what? I'm kind of curious if we have Indiana, we have Iowa, and these people are saying, "Oh no, it started in my state." No, it started in mine. I really am kind of curious. Like, there had to have been someone way long time ago that just had a piece of pork and was like, "Let's put it between two pieces of bread and see what it tastes like."
Right.
Because from what I'm reading on my research here is that they said that it searched in the Iowa State Fair and that it happened in Ogden or in Des Moines.
Hmm.
So I don't know who the hell is right on this one. Was it Indiana or is it Iowa?
Right. And what if I doubt there is such a thing because I mean, if you just do a quick Google search, you'll find 37 different recipes to make something.
Yeah, I know,
But
right?
is there like a trademark law on food?
Man, I think there's got to be some. I don't know about trademark, but there's got to be something that protects your recipe. You know, or unless it's found in some old ass cookbook. But then again, I mean, you take someone's recipe and you just tweak it a little bit, and then you can make it your own. Like, hey, I'm gonna make this breaded pork tenderloin, but instead of these seasonings, I'm gonna put these seasonings in and make it spicy, and now it's gonna be a spicy breaded pork tenderloin.
Right. So, just a quick Google search here. You cannot trademark food. By themselves, foods do not qualify for trademark as they do not distinguish your goods from another company's goods. However, if you wish to create a special product or special, if you wish to create and protect a special food item, you could create a specific brand name or slogan for your food.
Oh
So,
well,
like, if you called, you know how we did that episode probably 6 or 7 ago, um, and there was the term steamer for sandwiches,
yeah,
that could probably get trademarked.
yeah. Well, you think about all the other things that we've kind of talked about with brands and whatnot, and they have their own slogans. So I mean, geez, we recently just talked about Coca-Cola. We're talking about Georgia, you know?
Yep.
I mean, that brand itself, I think I even mentioned that you can knock it off. You can get the recipe, but the fact that you're going to compete against something that has like what 100 and something years of just branding itself, you ain't going to beat that.
Right.
So, and Coca-Cola, I mean, geez, you can slap that on just about anything and all around the world.
Hmm.
So, yeah, okay. Well, I kind of have to feel like the other thing we have to talk about, and we mentioned it, you know, the popcorn, the
Yep.
big popcorn is in Iowa, you know, and you've always heard that saying, you know, knee high by July,
Yep.
right? And that means it's ready to pick. So a lot of the farmers would essentially pick their corn and take it down to the farmers market or some markets and street corners and wind up selling that, or even certain festivals that are dedicated to corn kernels. And I don't know, sweet corn got a
Yep.
little bit of a sweet flavor and not a bad deal, but you know, we're getting into those Midwestern states where all you see is corn.
Yep. Yeah, I can't drive outside of town and not see corn. And one
Yeah.
thing we actually didn't mention while we were on the topic of corn is that different breeds of corn, like especially when they pop, you get different kind of shaped kernels.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Let me see if I can pull it up and do some screen share here.
Yeah, because that'd be kind of interesting to see what the kernels look like.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you have a favorite thing of corn? Like, what's your favorite recipe to eat it?
Dude, I like corn on the cob. You essentially you grill it in the husk and then you just throw some Cajun seasoning and some butter on it and you eat it on the cob.
Okay.
That is my go-to. Um, there's if I'm going for like a sweet popcorn, generally or like a movie theater style popcorn, I'll go towards a kettle corn because I prefer the sweeter flavor.
Yeah.
That being said, on my day off, the wife and I went out and we were doing some shopping and we went to one of the big popcorn um vendors here and they've got like several different types of gourmet popcorn for sale. And I picked up this blend called Campfire and it essentially it's like almost like kettle corn and then it's got like some chocolate drizzle on it and then some graham crackers and some cinnamon so it tastes like essentially a s'mores.
Oh man, do I have to start our conspiracy theory here and say that you're in with big popcorn because you're buying that shit?
Oh, dude, if Big Popcorn came and said, "Hey, we need your family," I'd be like, "Dude, Big Popcorn, I submit." So,
Just give me shit like campfire popcorn because it tastes like s'mores.
right. So, we're a little bit off topic. Sorry about that, but here is the screen share that we're going to be popping up. Let me know when you can
Any
see it.
second here. Any second.
There you go.
There we go.
Yeah. So, if you can see, I would say that you probably either get like the large butterfly and or the extra large mushroom in most of your popcorn styles. But
Yeah,
you can,
I can see that.
yeah. But if you look like this blue butterfly, you can almost kind of see the wings on this kernel, which they kind of picked it up. And then the red butterfly just kind of it's a smaller kernel it looks like, but comes from a red corn seed. And then you're finally starting to get into your more um larger with the white large butterfly kernel and then the large butterfly from this one down at the bottom. And then you actually go into a mushroom shaped style.
Dude, I am learning something today. I didn't even know that there's different kinds of kernels and what they're called.
Mm-hmm.
Like I totally have seen the extra large mushroom and I've eaten those, you know, and I've definitely think I've had the large butterfly before, but shit, I didn't even know that they had a name for that.
Right. And if it's kind of interesting too, because if you ever see something like a bag of popcorn kernels and you know your seed association, you'll be able to assume what kind you're gonna get,
Dude, I think you are in cahoots with Big Popcorn since you know all that shit.
right?
Now, do each one of those have different popping points? Like, ones are like I say 120 degrees and others are like 200 or what? Or do you not know that?
I am not sure, um, but it looks like on this artisan popcorn that I kind of pulled up here on Etsy,
Yeah.
um, they've got a variety of kernels that have somehow already been pre-seasoned, and when you pop this bag, it is supposed to be um seasoned and ready to like eat, which is kind of interesting.
Hey, that's kind of cool.
Yeah. So with that, it kind of answers your same question where it would appear that they would both have similar popping points,
Yeah.
um, which kind of
Sounds
makes
interesting. You know
sense.
what? And I'm sure there's tons of people, farmers and whatnot, and that know about all this. That's crazy.
Yeah. And look, you can actually get a variety pack of kernels. And
Yeah.
so like your mushroom popcorn, your purple, your extra large, your red, and your baby white. So if you wanted to, it looks like that comes from Amish Country Popcorn. So be patient on their delivery. It probably comes by horse and buggy.
Yeah. Yeah, they don't have the internet.
Yeah. So
Well, one thing I do want to talk about, and I may be wrong on this, and I think we've kind of pre-talked about this before we started today's episode. And I just, in my research, we've talked about pizza numerous times. Obviously the deep dish, and then the Brooklyn style, and New York style pizza, whatever. And we've gotten into some of the variations that we've had. Well, we kind of have another one that's apparently started in Iowa, and it's basically gas station pizza. Now, before I get into what the toppings are, I just don't feel that I would want some gas station pizza. You know what? If it's in like every gas station, I feel like that's just kind of crazy. It's not like you go to one that has a specialty that's kind of built onto a gas station, a convenience store, deli, whatever. I just got a feeling if there is pizza in all the gas stations around that state, that I just do not want to touch that with a 10-foot pole.
hmm
But what
I,
makes it even crazier is that it's not your normal red sauce, or even your buffalo chicken or anything like that. It's taco pizza.
hmm
Like they basically put taco, the chips, the salsa, your ground beef, your beans, lettuce, tomato, and then they bake it, and now you have a taco pizza. And I feel like that's kind of a bastardization and a disrespectful thing to tacos. I've said it.
yeah. I mean, like I get where you're coming from. I really do. Um, and in fact, taco pizza can be very hit or miss. I do prefer the old pepperoni over a taco pizza, but I've had some good taco pizzas before. Um, but apparently we have a certain general store who is to blame for this.
Oh yeah, why is that?
It looks like Casey's General Store was the one who pioneered the Hawkeye State's famous gas station pizza. And this was they opened in Boone, Iowa in 1959. Um, and apparently now there are more than 2,000 Casey's General Stores throughout the Midwest.
Oh my god.
Yep. Um,
All right. Well, Casey's General Store, I condemn your taco pizza.
right. And now you and I had a little bit of a rebuttal before this. So
Well,
like,
yeah. So I mean, that's why I put in there about, this isn't your
yeah.
convenience store deli that is known for stuff like this. It seems like there's 2,000 of these things all around the Midwest now.
Yeah.
So,
Well, so um there used to be this place, it's called the Brookside Drive-Through, and there was two of them in town where I grew up. And like you
yeah.
could get food there, and they had some really good pizza. And generally speaking, it was a lot cheaper than say like your Pizza Hut or stuff as well. And they also had like a really good deli attached to them, but it was essentially a gas station. You would go in there, you would get gas, you'd get a snack, but they had good pizza. And then I got to thinking about it. Iowa's a relatively open state to my knowledge. Like probably a lot of small towns and not a whole lot of what's the word I'm looking for? Like not like New York, where you think of New York, you automatically think of New York City.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Or like Buffalo or Niagara
Well,
Falls. Um
um, Ames, Iowa is like the big place. So if you're from there, I mean, Ames is
yeah.
the thing that comes to mind, or Des Moines, I
Yeah,
guess, one of the
those are the
two.
two that I know of. And so I assume one reason that gas station pizza is so popular here is if you think about delivery lines for say your like Pizza Huts and stuff, they probably don't deliver out into some of the sticks locations that some of these towns might be out of.
Yeah,
And so it might be more beneficial to pick up your pizza on your way home from work and just stop at Casey's and pick up dinner for the family.
yeah, I can see that. I can see
So,
that being easier.
no, all in all, this being said, I generally won't trust gas station food, but I would trust a gas station pizza over I would trust a gas station sushi.
Oh yeah, that's something. Yeah,
Yeah,
if I had to choose between the two, I would definitely have the pizza.
yeah,
I mean, if I'm gonna shit my brains out either way, like I might as well have the pizza because who knows how long that freaking
yep,
sushi's been sitting there. At least the pizza would be warm, right? Or would be hot,
yep.
and you would hopefully get past that threshold of where bacteria can harbor.
Hmm.
I don't know if you've ever worked in the restaurant industry, but that whole danger zone.
Oh yeah.
So,
So,
like, yeah, I would probably take that gas station taco pizza over gas station sushi or
oh yeah.
egg salad. Egg
Yep.
salad's the other one that's kind of weird.
So, while we're on the topic of like these little convenience stores and stuff, when I say 7-Eleven to you, what do you think of?
I mean, I think of like a chain store, that
Right.
has the hot dogs that are rolling
Yeah.
in the display thing there.
Right. But overall, like as far as like quality wise,
Yeah, I would say 7-Eleven would probably be trusted enough.
okay. Have you ever heard about the 7-Elevens in Japan?
Uh, I know that there are 7-Elevens in other countries, but I didn't know there was any in Japan.
So 7-Eleven in Japan is like, oh my gosh. So they give all other convenience stores essentially a bad name. Like you could go there, you could get like fresh rice, you could buy video games there, you could buy like alcohol. Yeah,
It's like a
no.
one-stop shop.
Yeah, it's super, and apparently they're like super clean and super nice. I was gonna try and do a screen share, um, but unfortunately I don't have like a series of good pictures in a row to show you.
Yeah.
Um,
Uh,
and it's kind of hard to get
Well,
the gist.
yeah, but you know what? Um, Coming up here in one of the next states, we still have a bunch before we get there, and you will know this, but I mean, I could say one gas station slash convenience store slash one stop shop that is probably a really good comparison to your Japan 7-Eleven.
Yep, I know what one you're talking about.
Yeah, I don't even have to say it. You know exactly what am going to say when we get to that state. And
Hey,
I feel as if you'll know. And listeners, you'll just have to stick forward to us when we get to that state. And the people that are within that state, you're probably already guessing, or who have visited that, you're probably already guessing what it is. But we'll hold off on that. But I think that one will be a pretty good comparison too.
yep. Also, probably owned by Big Popcorn.
Yeah, I know, right? Well, the other thing that I noticed too that apparently Iowans do is they've also created the breakfast pizza.
Okay, so at least we have some credit here. I'll take me a breakfast pizza.
Yeah, so this one's essentially, they have the eggs and they have the sausage, bacon, or whatever else, peppers in there, and they put that on that dough and then just let that cook up, which I feel like I would take that over the taco pizza, but that's here nor there, I guess, right now. But that's one of the other things that they have done too. So, you know what? Good for them for getting an early start and having hot pizza for them.
Right.
But one of the things that I do want to kind of move into, and it's a dessert, but we can keep on jumping around, and that's fine. But is it's called the nutty bars.
So, fun fact, I plead ignorance to this because I love me some nutty bars, and I'm talking about like the 50-cent nutty bars that you can find at gas stations.
Yes.
And so when
This
I saw Iowa's Love Nutty Bars, I was like, big fucking deal. Me too. And I scrolled right down without even looking at it.
Well, what's kind of funny though is that it's nothing like those 50-cent nutty bars,
It
man.
is not.
It's actually ice cream.
Yeah.
And one of the famous ice cream places out that way is the Blue Bunny ice cream.
Mm-hmm.
So this shit's been going on since like 1935, I think. And if you were gonna go anywhere out that way, you're gonna have to have Blue Bunny. And it's just like other places too. Like when I moved down to Texas, um, Bluebell is the one that's like, oh, it's pretty good. But then Tillamook was another one that's like, oh, it's pretty good. But
Yeah.
back where I'm from, Ben and Jerry's is very popular up there. So I find it funny that every place has their creamery or their style of ice cream that is like they think is the best.
Yeah.
But they have a bunch of different flavors, uh, about 40 different ice cream flavors, and it's the ice cream capital of the world. And go figure, right? Because not only do they have a bunch of corn, but they also have a bunch of dairy farms,
Yep.
and that's where they're getting all of that milk coming from the cows. And you're pretty close to the other states that do other things as well. So it doesn't surprise me that Iowa has a bunch of dairy slash cheese slash whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But going back to the nutty bars, so essentially what you do is you get a little bit of that ice cream, you put it on a stick. So I guess you'd have to mold it into the little. It almost looks like a big ass marshmallow. So you probably
Yeah.
put it into a mold and stick a stick in it, and then you dip it in chocolate and you cover it with nuts.
Mm.
So I wonder if it's close to those what the hell are those ice cream ones that have the chocolate and the nuts on top, and then like the chocolate melts into the cone.
Oh Lord, I know
Or
what you're talking.
drumsticks. That's what they're called. They're
Yep.
called drumsticks. I wonder
Yep.
if it's very close or similar to what a drumstick would be, just minus the cone.
Yeah. I think you're right on that. And drumsticks are pretty good.
They are. And obviously the last part of it is the cone, when
Mm-hmm.
you get to all that chocolate that's stuck at the bottom.
Yep.
So, but I would feel like I would have to try one of these nutty bars. If
Oh
I was
yeah.
in a place in Iowa, which I don't know whenever the hell I'll get that way, but if I ever do, I'm gonna have to stop off and be like, I need to try these nutty bars and find out what the hell all the jab is about.
Mm-hmm. I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that. So, speaking of on our dessert line right here, this one had me in quite the kerfuffle because I clicked
Okay.
on it because of its name and was very upset about it not having the main ingredient that I thought it would have in it.
Okay. So what was the name?
Scotcheroos.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yep.
So it doesn't have any scotch in it, huh?
Well, it's got butterscotch, but not
Well,
Scotch
that's
Scotch. And I figured if you're living in Iowa, you're probably drinking. So I just
Yeah.
assumed. My bad. Although apparently not much is known about the invention of these crunchy treats, the recipe was originally printed on the box of Rice Krispies in the 1960s. Um, and if we go and we look at a recipe, and I will screen share here again for the foodies viewing on YouTube. Um, Super simple. You've got a cup of light corn syrup, 1 cup of sugar, 1 cup peanut butter, 6 cups of either Cocoa Krispies or Rice Krispies, 1 packet of 6 ounce, 1 cup semi sweet chocolate morsels, and 1 cup of butterscotch chips. And you place the corn syrup and sugar into a 3-quart saucepan, cook over medium heat, stirring frequently until the sugar dissolves. Mixture begins to boil. Remove from the heat, stir in the peanut butter. Mix well, add your Rice Krispie cereal, stir well until coated. Press the mixture into a 13 by 9 by 2-inch pan coated with cooking spray. Set it aside. Melt your chocolate and butterscotch chips together in a saucepan over low heat, stirring constantly so you don't burn that stuff because that's not going to be fun. You spread it even over the cereal mixture, let stand until form, and then you cut out. So super simple. Super simple.
Super simple.
Yeah.
So butterscotch, depending on what the candy is for me, or what the food, I guess, would kind of be whether or not I'd eat it.
Yeah, that's
You
fair.
know, like I do like butterscotch, like the candies, those are nice.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I feel like it's pretty overpowering if you're to get something maybe like one of these
Yeah.
scotcheroos, or so I guess it really would have to be how potent is that butterscotch.
Well, and here's the thing too. You could always get rid of the butterscotch in here and go for 2 packages of the semi-sweet chocolate morsels.
Yeah.
Um, or if you like butterscotch but you're a little bit afraid of it, you could add the 1.5 packages of the semi-sweet to a half package of the butterscotch chips. You know, just kind of cut it as needed.
Yeah, that's not a
But
bad deal.
the cool thing about this is, say you have like family members and you want to teach them like a fun dessert and just kind of like get them used to working in the kitchen and learning recipes, it's pretty hard to mess this up.
I don't know, man. I have seen some people mess some shit up in the kitchen before.
Right.
And it's like, dude, you just need to follow the directions. Like, how did you screw that up?
Okay, so let me reiterate this. You ain't making like tiramisu here, right? Where you're gonna need like 30 ingredients.
Yeah.
So like if you mess up this, I mean, you're out what, $5 in ingredients? Because I'm assuming you have most of the stuff at home except for perhaps the Rice Krispies.
And even that, I mean, how much is a box of Rice Krispies?
I
I,
I have
I haven't had,
3.29.
yeah, I haven't had freaking Rice Krispies in ages, so I couldn't even tell you. But I think 3.29 is probably a decent guess.
Let's see what Google says. You know what? We're gonna go straight to the source.
Go to Amazon. Oh God. I mean,
That's
that's a
imported
big
from
ass.
Canada.
Yeah.
These are all like supersized. So let's see.
I have a feeling it's gonna be around like $3, $3 or $4.
So I'm
I don't.
thinking they're putting shipping in this. Uh, but you can get new boxes of Rice Krispies for $10.15.
Man, I just googled it real quick, and Walmart's selling it for 288.
Right. This is
So
probably shouldn't have used Amazon there. It's probably gonna be cheaper to get that from your local store,
yeah,
but Yeah, no.
Well, one of the other ones that kind of going along with that cereal stuff is the puppy chow.
Mhm.
Apparently, that's a very popular thing if you're in the Midwest, and especially within like the Dakotas and Iowa and all those other Midwestern states, because
Yeah,
you're
buddy.
basically using Chex Mix.
Mhm.
You get some of that salty, crunchy, but you definitely have to wash your hands after it because of all the freaking sugar that's on it.
Mhm.
I mean, powdered sugar, just I feel like any form of condensation gets to it, it's just like cement. It
Yeah.
sticks to your hands. Uh, but I remember having puppy chow as a kid, though, and even later on.
Mhm.
So what I didn't know, and that I actually looked this up, is that um, Czech cereal actually arrived in the late 1930s, and it was made by Purina.
Oh, really?
Legit, that yeah, that Purina, the company that adopted its name for puppy chow, like makes dog food.
Mhm.
Um, they basically started as a horse feed company, made dog food, cat food, and then cereal. Because after World War I, they were trying to figure out how they can still contain their stuff, and so Chex was called Human Chow at some point because of that Purina connection. Like the puppy chow. Oh, look, we're gonna make it to Human Chow.
Ah, man. I'm gonna kerfuffle here. You said human chow,
Yeah.
and oh my god, I think the movie's called Soylent Green,
Okay.
and essentially it's like the people are being fed Soylent Green to like mass feed everybody, and it turns out that Soylent Green is made from other humans.
Oh, nice.
And so you said human chow, and my mind exactly went to Soylent Green. And that's why I was laughing.
That's great.
Yeah. Man. But I do love me some puppy chow. I always
Yeah.
thought that was a weird name for it. Because I was like, if this is what dog food tastes like, why the hell are we eating anything else?
I actually had a neighbor that would eat anything that he gave his dog. So if it was like Purina or dog biscuits or whatever, he would take a little bite of it and he'd be like, not bad, and then give it to his dog.
Did
I,
we
I don't know
have this
why he did
same
it.
neighbor?
It might have, but yeah, it was funny.
Huh?
But I guess, if it's good for the dog, it should be good for you too.
Uh, that's fair.
I mean, you're talking about Soylent Green, so I think the listeners need to learn about puppy chow.
They need to learn about puppy chow.
Um,
Uh,
so I guess I didn't realize that there's a lot of Italian influences in Iowa, which I mean, I guess if people were moving west and they kind of just plopped down and said, "Well, this is we're not going to go any farther,"
nope, big
which
popcorn theory here.
which side story, I kind of find it funny how people actually came into the U.S. They all started on the East Coast, and then they kind of started traveling west, and at some point, their family's like, "Yep, this is it. We ain't going any further. We're just gonna sit right here and just do whatever we can do."
Right.
Or it's like, "Oh, Johnny died, so we should probably just stay here instead of moving west." Well, they have a lot of Italian stuff, and so there's two foods that are pretty close to that those Italian roots, and the first one is a panino, and this tiny little town had a bunch of Italian food, and basically it's a sandwich, and it's Italian bread, and it's stuffed with Italian sausage, pepperoni, marinara sauce, and then they bake it to seal it all in, and then they serve it with some marinara sauce, and I feel like it's not a calzone, but not a sandwich per se, because they're baking it, so it's gonna seal it all in, just like all the other Italian stuff. But I kind of want to try it. I've never even heard of that, the panino.
Hmm.
And the other one that kind of goes along with it too, and it has a little bit of some negative name to it, is the Guinea sandwich, and it's basically a meatball
Correct.
sub. or the Guinea grinder or Guinea, one of those. And it's basically a meatball sub. And it just, there's a lot of Italian people. Guinea was a racial slur, and it was like, hey, give me that Guinea sandwich. And it kind of just took off and stayed. So I'm surprised it hasn't changed.
Yeah. Sorry, I was doing some history timeline checking because I
Okay.
had a thought as to why we might have so much Italian influence from that part of the world.
Yeah.
And my first initial thought was perhaps they came over during the gold rush, but the gold rush happened between 1848 to 1855. And so I was like, well, maybe it's part of like the Industrial Revolution when they were coming in from Ellis Island. And the second industrial revolution in America was between 1820 and 1870. So those two time frames line up, right? However, what I didn't know was that Ellis Island only opened for immigration in 1892.
Okay.
So, and it was only used from 92 to 1924. So, as far as how the Italian influence ended up going out west, maybe we could look at finding better land to grow wine. But even then, I'd say that's a far stretch because we don't know a whole lot about wine growing during that time.
I mean, they've been doing wine for quite some time, right? So I guess maybe just the soil, they didn't know
Right.
it was good enough.
So, yeah, that was just my thought process on that.
Yeah.
So,
Well, what about the thing that's related to our safe word today?
yes. So, for those of you who don't know, and we'll see if any of you have like linguistic majors here that can pronounce this word as I screen share again. German potato soup. Cart of Suppe. I have no idea if that's pronounced correctly. Um, but I think everybody here has had some potato soup before. I've had potato soup. You ever had
Uh,
potato soup?
I've had potato soup numerous times.
Yeah, potato soup is fucking delicious. However, apparently, what I didn't know is how the German style potato soup is made. And so we're gonna kind of go over um how they make it real quick. And this is something that's super popular in Iowa. So we went from Italian influence to German influence.
Yeah.
You're going to need olive oil, garlic, onion, carrot, celery, potato stock, some bay leaf, cream, salt, pepper, butter, lemon zest, and some spring onions. Use a medium sized pot, heat up your olive oil. Once the oil is ready, add your garlic, add your onion, cook it until it starts to become fragrant, and then add your carrots and add your celery. You're going to cook that for a few minutes, stirring occasionally. Um, Whatever potatoes you want to use, kind of do what you have available. But you're gonna add your potatoes now. You're gonna add your stock, add bay leaf, and you're gonna cover with a lid and bring that to a boil. Um, Once it starts boiling, you're gonna keep it simmering until your vegetables have softened. Remove your bay leaf. Scoop 1/3 of the vegetables and set that aside. After that, you're gonna add your cream and add your butter.
Yeah, that's gonna be the money right there.
Yep. And then you're going to mix that until the butter has completely dissolved. And it says use a stick blender to blend the soup up. It looks like you add salt and pepper, add your lemon zest, mix that to combine, add some green spring onions, and add your cooked vegetables. Cover and simmer for a few minutes. And looks like after that, it's all going to pop out. Some
Yeah,
recommendation spices is to add cumin and nutmeg for a noticeable difference because they can make the soup a little more complex.
I
But
think I think the end though, like those look like cool pictures, especially that one right there. but
Yeah.
I feel like it's missing some key components of what a potato should look like.
Yep.
And that's having like the cheddar cheese and bacon and stuff on top of that, and then you mix all that stuff in.
Oh yeah. No,
That's probably where that's lacking some of that flavor.
yeah, well, this is the German style, not the
Yeah,
American style.
I know, but I feel like you can combine best of both worlds and throw your some
Yeah.
cheddar cheese and some bacon and some sour cream on that bad boy.
Yeah. So, but no, I mean, like that right there. If you're having a very cold winter, some potato soup, that'll
Yeah,
that'll get the blood flowing.
that will definitely get the blood flowing for sure.
Mm-hmm. So
So, uh, what's the other one that you got too? You got some beer, right?
I actually do have a beer, um, and so we ended up picking this brewery in Iowa for one reason, and it's they've been recognized by the quality of its beer by countless festivals and craft beer groups. It has been named the #2 brewery in the world by Beer Advocate. Their barrel aged stout, Kentucky Brunch brand stout, has actually held the title of #1 beer in the world since 2015. And as lovers of stouts,
Yeah,
breakfast,
that sounds great.
yeah, like that one was going to be a hard one to pass up. Um, so we're gonna actually screen share on this toppling Goliath um brewery here. Any second now, come on, screen share. Thank you.
Wonder how much one of those things cost.
Well, let's
I mean,
see.
well, I'm just thinking though, because I've had some stouts before that come in, 4 pack or whatever, or I've even had ones that are in bottles,
Mm-hmm.
like, that you can buy in the liquor store and whatnot, and they're usually like, God, I think it was like $12 or $15 for one of those bottles, just because it was so potent,
Right.
you
And
know.
I will say right now, just from the look of these cans, this is a brand that I would try because for one, if anybody who knows me knows that I absolutely love dinosaurs. And so to have a T-Rex on your can, like, okay, you got me there. Um,
You're already sold by the
I'm
dinosaurs.
already sold. And then like, I don't know, I've never had a pastry stout to my knowledge, but to kind of go with our big popcorn here, the fresh batch s'mores pastry stouts. So 10%
Ooh,
ABV, so that's relatively respectable. It's supposed to have toasted marshmallow notes with melted milk chocolate. So I am down for that one. While we're on our screen share here, you can see that they have quite the series of just rotational beers that they pull out. Uh, let's click on this Cherry Fandago, see what that's about. So 5% ABV, not bad. Apparently made with actual cherry juice, and this is a sour beer that's supposed to taste like cinnamon crusted cherry pie.
that's awesome.
Yeah, like
I need to make
sour.
a trip out to this freaking brewery.
Yeah, sour beers aren't something that I get a lot because there's just not a lot brewed up here, but they are something that I would really like. Um, they're limited releases here. It appears that their Assassin is their popular label.
Yeah,
So let's just click on one of these and see what that's about.
I do a lot of another barrel aged.
Yeah, that could also just be what we're clicking on too.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
12%. I mean, I'll take that any day.
yeah, and that looks like that might come in a 24 ounce. That looks like a relatively big bottle.
I like
So
that it has the wax on top.
yeah,
You're kind of not following in the maker's deal, but you kind of are. And I
right.
like that it has the different color waxes too to kind
Yeah.
of go with the bottles.
So let's see if there's a difference here. No, it's another barrel aged stout.
Yeah.
Um,
That's like a chocolate.
yeah. We'll just click
Man,
on this green one over here to see if this is anything different.
you need to find out if you can get one of these somewhere. You need to go to the liquor store or the beer store right by your house and
Yep.
see if they can get that.
When we go, we'll do some we'll do like see if I can figure out where they go by the state and figure it out because you might have better luck getting this. Well, I where you're from versus where I'm from.
Maybe.
So, but apparently this is a barrel aged ale. This Naughty Temple, but it's rocking a meaty 14%. So like that that's respectable. And then they've got collabs that they do. Toppling Water, Central Brewery, Collective. Looks like they took maple syrup for 15 months and started brewing it in their beers.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah. Looks like it took 2 years to make this beer. And it came out as a nice barrel aged stout with some maple notes and a respectable 12.5% ABV. Um, while we're scrolling through here, do you see any beers that you want me to click on for the foodies?
Oh no, man, you're sticking with all those stouts. I mean, that pastry stout looks kind of cool. I know you talked about that briefly.
Yeah. Let's go over to you want to do a pilsner or their lemon shandy or their lager?
The lemon shandy sounds pretty good.
Oh, these are draft only. Gotcha.
Uh,
But they've got two sours, they've got a lager, a pilsner, looks like tequila aged stout, which could be interesting. I wish I could click on that for more information. Got some pilsners. So although like what we were clicking on for the most part was stout based, they do have.
well, I think they'd have to play to the other people too. You just can't have stouts.
I mean, I would give you
Oh,
many
I'd
money.
be in heaven if I had that. But other people don't like stouts and they like other things.
Yeah,
So
they're allowed to be wrong. Oh, here we go. Maybe. Citra Hops gives King Sue bold flavors of mango, orange, and pineapple. This double dry hopped version packs even more flavor in each bottle. So this is an IPA or a double IPA um, that is rocking just under 8% alcohol by volume.
yeah,
So I don't know how IPAs usually run, but I'm assuming that's relatively good. Here we have the tip
seltzer.
for the white girl in all of us. Looks like you have a 12-pack mix available of the seltzer featuring pineapple, mango, strawberry, and watermelon for 4.5 ABV. So not bad. Zero carbs and 90 calories. So if you want like a health conscious drink, there you go. So let's go to Beer Finder here. And we're just going to search. Stop the screen share here. We're going to search where you're from. Yeah, you might actually be in luck.
You'll have to let me know off recording where the closest one is, because then I might take a look, and depending on the price, could probably give
I'm
that a shot.
I'm sending you some messages.
Okay.
See if
Ooh, that's a long drive for me. That's still a decent drive.
okay. Um, there's
Well,
a
we can.
there's a whole bunch in that state.
Yeah. Well, I'll have to take a look. There might be stuff closer.
Let me check my state real quick.
Well, we'll have to take a look at that when we
Mm-hmm.
you know getting closer there.
Yes.
Oh, excuse me. You happen to have anything else that maybe we missed already?
Not that I know of. Ooh. Oh, sweet baby Jesus.
There's the one closer to you.
A lot closer. Um, Several closer actually.
Well, then, damn, I know what you should do this week.
Yep. So I'm off. Yeah, I might have to take a trip. So yeah, because
Cool.
if
Well,
I can find me a beer with a T Rex on it, you know damn well that's gonna go up once we get the camera back on and be in the background of this.
yeah.
So, but
Well,
do you have anything else to add to tonight's episode?
no, I think I'm good. I got all my stuff. You want to take us out?
Yep. I'll take you out before Big Pharma takes me out, or Big Popcorn
big
does.
big popcorn, man.
Big Popcorn. Foodies, it's been a hell of a time. Thank you for joining us for this Iowa episode. Hopefully, here soon, we'll kind of get out of the Midwest. For those of you who want a refresher on the beers that we just went over and maybe couldn't find the website, literally just toppling Goliath Brewing Company. Um, they appear to be well established. Um, have quite a few different areas you can get their beer from. So give them a try. Let us know how we go. And anybody who can speak German better than I, how badly did I mess up potato soup in German? So I've been the Meat Viking, and along this ride with my wonderful co-host.
Professor Porkloin.
And we will see you all later.
Until next time.